But let me now introduce someone who's been actively involved in the forum right from the start and is one of its greatest and most loyal supporters. So please welcome Annika Saville, the Executive Head of the UN Democracy Fund.
Mr. Mayor, Excellencies, distinguished leadership of the New York Times, I am indeed proud to be here for this 6th consecutive forum. I'm proud to have been a founding partner of this event, and I'm especially proud to have seen it flourish from its first embryonic session of 2 hours only in 2013 to what is now a rich and varied program lasting several days. Over these 5 years, as we've come here to the birthplace of democracy and quoted Pericles to one another, we've also been inspired to see how modern Greece has turned the corner, how it has weathered the crisis, how at the same time it has received huge numbers of refugees and migrants. Thank you for welcoming us here too. But elsewhere in the world, we've witnessed a different story. As UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says in his message to you on page 1 of your printed program, democracy is showing greater strain than at any time in decades. And we've heard from Mark Thompson and colleagues at panels earlier today how that strain manifests itself, so I won't go through that, but I will say that much of this could have been predicted, and indeed it was. 20 years ago, my former boss, Kofi Annan, again, I'll pay tribute to him, as Mark did, warned that unless the benefits of globalization were shared more fairly, all the isms of the 20th century would come flooding back. The isms that exploit the insecurity and misery of people who feel victimized by globalization, protectionism, populism, nationalism, ethnic chauvinism, fanaticism, and yes, terrorism. The more wretched people are, Kofi warned, the more those isms will continue to gain ground. And that's where we are today. Prescient man, Kofi Annan. And as Mark said, today is an occasion to pay tribute to his memory. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. In other words, democracy dies when no one works at keeping it alive. Now, we need to look for new ways forward. We need to look beyond responses to today's news cycle, beyond criticism of individual leaders, rather to what brings those leaders to power, beyond trying to solve today's problems with yesterday's solutions. Almost a lifetime has passed since C.P. Snow, the great British scientist and thinker, declared that society is divided in 2 cultures, humanities and science, separated by a gulf of mutual incomprehension. It still is. We need to bridge this. We need futurists to think about a future that leaves no one behind. We need better understanding between thinkers of technology and thinkers of democracy. A better grasp of how we humans function, how we trust, learn, and cooperate, but also how we hate, fight, and manipulate, can help public policy makers and citizens alike build better governance and better lives. And that's why this forum is so important. It tackles those kinds of issues, and I thank you all for being a part of it. And now it is my pleasure to introduce a great supporter of this forum, Mayor Yorgos Kaminis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.